Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sunshine Connection. My name is Ian, or Platy the Sunshine Platypus, and today I have a very special guest with me. This is ApotheKara,
Hi.
and we are in ApotheKara's home and kitchen here, and this is going to be a unique episode.
It's gonna be an episode.
episode because I am coming to be led on an experience here.
Mhm.
We just came from dancing together at Ecstatic Dance, which was amazing. I had a
Yeah.
lot of fun dancing with
Yeah,
you.
great night
Yeah,
at
just
Dance Sanctuary. If
yes,
anyone's in Ithaca, New York,
Dance Sanctuary at
every
the
Thursday.
Foundation of Light
Hmm.
every Thursday, and
Hmm.
yeah, just lots of fun to go dance and play. So please join us if you'd like. So yeah, tell me, because I only just found out what I was going to be experiencing when I arrived not moments ago. So please tell me, what are we doing this evening?
All right, Ian. So I'm an herbalist and I've been loving on plants for a few decades now. And there's so many different ways to use plants and plant medicine. And a lot of people don't realize this, but we can actually inhale the plants without smoking the plants. And we don't have to smoke tobacco or cannabis. We can actually inhale herbs like flowers. And so there's flowers throughout the entire world. You can grow them, you can pick them. There's certain flowers that have different energies and also different actions. So basically, we have four flowers that grow locally to Ithaca, New York, that either came from my gardens or local gardens. And we have elderflower, which comes from the elder tree. We have lavender, and we have rose petals, and we have calendula. So basically, what we're going to do, Ian, is we're going to steam with flowers.
Sounds good.
And then you're going to let me know kind of your experience, because I'm not going to tell you what you're going to experience. I want you to experience it. And then we're going to talk about it
Nice.
and kind of what how you feel now to compare to after. And then after that, we're going to actually do another round two after steaming. And I will explain that after. So this is like super simple. So, well, the first thing you got to do is you got to brush your hair out of your face. So we'll just do that. This is all self care, self love. So good to take care of yourself.
Thank you.
So this helps the skin, this helps the lungs, and this helps the nervous system. So as you might understand with plant medicines, is there's usually not just one effect. Usually the plants have multiple effects and they're layered. So right now we're going to just kind of have you pick out the plants that you are drawn to or the flowers you're drawn to. And then I can explain each one, or you can just kind of experience it and then I'll explain them after, kind of however you want to.
Yeah. So a combination of a few,
Yeah,
or
yeah, and you can try them all too. Yeah, or a
yeah.
combination, one or two. Usually there's kind of an idea in plant medicine of duos and trios, where like the duo can really synergize each other, or the trio can really synergize. We do sometimes do multiple, like with quad or quadruplets, or what's that? How do you say five?
Five tuplets? I don't know.
Five couplets.
Something like that.
So yeah.
Well, so yeah, so I love lavender. I'm actually carrying some lavender essential oil in my pocket.
Sweet.
Yeah, because it's one of the best.
I know. And we're going to talk about some nerdy research after on
Nice,
lavender.
sweet.
All right, so grab some lavender.
So what I'm gonna say is, and I'm all about threes as well. So I think because I'm so familiar and I love it, and also
Okay.
know the strong flavor, that I'm thinking maybe the three others.
All right, awesome.
How does that sound?
That sounds great. So I'm
Sweet.
going to give you a scoop, and
Okay.
you're going to just scoop a little bit,
Mhm.
about a tablespoon into your bowl.
Okay.
And then I'm going to do rose, and I'm going to do lavender.
Okay.
You don't need a lot. So just like, tablespoon.
How's that?
That sounds perfect.
Is that
Yeah, no, that's good. And then I'm going to hand this over to you.
Okay.
So you want the rose, and I'm going to do some lavender.
Right. I realize I want to smell
Take a
them
scoop. I
while I'm
know.
doing it.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my favorite things to do with
Yeah.
anything that smells is just take in a big whiff. Sometimes I do 3 giant big whiffs, but
Yeah.
we could be here all night if I just delve into too much of the experience.
I know, and actually, just smelling scents can literally change our mood. It truly can increase neurotransmission in our body.
Yeah.
It's like pretty remarkable, and it can bring up memories, all sorts of amazing things.
Right. Well, smell is one of our strongest senses, right? For memories, bringing back memories. That's what I've heard.
I believe so. I mean, I think there's a lot of ways that we can bring up memories, but scent is definitely one of them. Yeah.
Wow. Yes.
I know.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. We'll experience them and then we'll talk about them.
Okay.
Here's the last one. This is calendula. So Ian has the elderflower, the rose, and the calendula.
Yeah, I like doing tea of calendula. Calendula.
Did that evoke any feeling right there?
The smell?
Yeah.
It did. I think from, I don't know, maybe making the tea. I mean, it's a very sweet, connecting flavor, and I think it's just kind of that sweetness of life. Also, calendula is very good for like uplifting and mood and stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I think I connect it and associate it with that experience.
I know, and it looks like a sun, when they come up, especially all the oranges and yellows.
Yes. Well, that's probably why I instantly resonate with it too.
Oh, the light. They're light
It's
givers.
beautiful. Oh, tell us about the tea that we have here.
Oh yeah. So
cheers.
Yes, Salante. So this tea is a tea that I use regularly. It's ashwagandha, Japanese knotweed, and hawthorn. And a couple years ago, I had limes, and this is the tea that literally just changed me back to balance and health. And that's a whole nother story, but it's one of the, it's one of my ally plants. All these three allies that help me from time to time when I'm getting a little fatigued or need a little boost. I'll go back to drinking these for a few days. So, ashwagandha, Japanese knotweed,
It's tasty.
and the little hawthorn berries. All right, so you ready to steam?
Brush over here so I don't accidentally brush my teeth.
Yeah, we don't want hair in your steam.
No, definitely not.
Although, that could be a different flavor.
Yes.
All right, so now all you do is boil your water. Simple, if you have a stove at home. And then I'm going to just, don't burn yourself at home. So you're going to just pour a little bit. It's not a lot. And then grab your towel, Ian.
Where's my towel?
I think you're sitting on it.
Got it.
All right. And then I wish you guys could see how beautiful this looks. Can we bring the camera over?
Oh, it's attached on the wall.
Okay.
Can we bring the?
Oh, we'll do it after.
What about if we bring the bowl over to?
Oh, that's all right. All right. So it looks so beautiful, doesn't it? All the colors, and you already can smell it. So now you just literally take yourself and go under. Don't go too close yet. Just kind of breathe it in.
Keep in mind, we have our microphones clipped to, Kara has a pocket, which is very convenient, but yeah, the towel may make it so it's hard to hear.
And then just kind of be in this. Breathing deeply. And as you feel comfortable, you can go lower, deeper into the steam. We're just going to take a few minutes now. And just breathe and smell and experience this. Just going lower into the steam. Well, and Ian finishes up here. I'm going to just kind of explain a little bit. You're welcome to exit anytime you want, Ian. But basically, the steam fills up all the pores on your face, and essential oils are actually carried by the steam. Those are the fragrances in the plants. Those are what makes a rose smell like a rose, a lavender smell like a lavender, and they have a lot of different effects. They're anti-inflammatory, so they help with skin. So they can help with acne, any kind of redness or inflammation or dermatitis of the skin. They can help clear any kind of inflammatory action, inflammatory problem going on in your nasal passages. They can actually help inflammation going on in your eyes, mouth, and in the lungs, because we're breathing that steam down, so we're getting those essential oils in our lungs. This is one of the ways that I use to actually care for my skin, because I open the pores, I help get the inflammatory actions of the different herbs, and and just, let my skin just get hydrated, especially now that it's winter in upstate New York. Everything's dry, the furnaces and the wood stoves are on. So it really is helpful to get steam and get these practices going. And they're so simple and so easy. And really, anyone can do this with literally a bowl, some herbs, and some hot water and a towel. So I hope this will inspire y'all to try this. It always makes me feel so relaxed. And we're going to talk a little bit about each of the herbs and why in a second. I think Ian's rising from the steam here.
Whew.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'll return. I could just kind of probably stay there forever.
I know. I know. I know. It gets emotional, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I see it in you. It is emotional medicine.
Yeah.
These flowers, they're here
Yeah.
to support us.
Yeah. And oh,
Yeah, try
you
not to,
feel.
try not to,
Oh no,
yeah.
to wipe it off.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you kind of want
Yeah.
to let
Leave
that
it. Let
just
it
kind of
sit.
all,
Okay.
yeah, absorb, but it's all
Okay.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it took me to quite a few things. Speaking of, smell being memory and such. One was a most recent experience of being in Portugal at Burning Man there, and a sauna that was done the style of from Russia of the banya, which it was an amazing whole thing. I won't delve into it too much, but they
Sounds
came all
good.
the way from Poland with this truck with a giant old stove and set it all up, and it was this nice round one with beautiful fairy lights and stuff inside. And they did with eucalyptus for both doing the steam through and everything, so you'd smell it in the whole place, and then they'd come by individually and give everyone an individual massage with the
Oh,
eucalyptus down
wow.
face, whole body, and then all these sensory things like putting different plant smelling herbs and plants in our under our nose, ice or grapes in our mouth, pouring cold water on
So
our
all like
heads.
very
Oh
sensual.
yes, very. It was an
Wow.
amazing experience, and yeah, super super special.
Mm.
So that was something that came to mind most recently. And then something that I haven't thought about for a long time that came from the roses is probably over 10 years ago. I was with a partner traveling around Thailand, and we went and did a bath with rose petals all
Mm.
over in the bath. And just that steam and smell,
Yeah.
was super powerful and strong. So it took me
Mm.
back to that, which I probably haven't thought about, since
Oh wow.
then.
Oh,
So
that's beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah, it is amazing how these smells and these herbs can evoke such memories.
yeah.
And we're actually sitting in front of a eucalyptus. So this is
Oh
all
wow.
local eucalyptus. We don't do Christmas trees around here, but
Yeah.
we do a eucalyptus. So we have the eucalyptus tree with our lights for the winter solstice that's approaching, the darkest day of the year. And yeah, eucalyptus is a great herb to utilize too, especially if you're not feeling great and a little sick.
Yeah.
Eucalyptus can really open up the airways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. And something that I also noticed is, so I'm not as familiar with the smell of elderflower, very much so of rose and calendula. And so I could differentiate for sure the rose and the
Mm-hmm.
calendula in that. And yeah, it was interesting because it felt like the calendula kind of just added this like essence, like sweetness to the rose, like just kind of I don't know, a little like you said before, it looks like a sun, like this little
Yeah.
extra tinge of
Yeah.
sunshine to the rose. And yeah, so it was
Yeah.
really interesting.
And calendula is really anti-inflammatory herb, and it's got what we call mucilage. So it's got a little bit of this carbohydrate in it that actually can really soothe the skin. And we're going to actually use ice with calendula here in a
Oh
second.
wow.
Yeah. So so elderflower is a really amazing lymphatic. So it's an herb that actually supports the clear fluids of our bodies to flow. And it's considered, immune stimulant herb. So our immune system is based on those lymphatic vessels, those clear fluids that run all alongside our blood vessels, and it's where all our inflammatory markers and our inflammation response, our infectious response comes from. And it's a really amazing, very delicate flower. They're tiny. They're just like the tiniest little. They're almost like little grains of sand in there. And there's the sweetest, almost like a little bit too sweet in the spring and summer when they're in blossom. You're almost like kind of get intoxicated, like, oh, like I can't keep smelling this.
Yeah.
But it really does kind of cool down a little bit with the drying, and it's just the sweetest little delicate. They're so delicate,
Yeah.
that smell.
And I mean, the elderberry is also very good for the
Hmm.
immune system. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they both are. So if you don't pick the flower, then you have the berry.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, so I do a little mixture of both. I have quite large elder tree out, um, shrub tree out in front, yeah, of my
Mm.
house.
Do you also do the berries?
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah,
Yeah, that's one thing. And just coming back from Europe, that that's one thing that's all over the place is elderberry. Anything for
yeah.
getting colds or any kind of immune support and stuff.
Hmm.
And that's one thing that I really appreciate about pharmacies over in most of Europe that I've been to, where all these things are just very common knowledge, of herbs and other things that can be used, and everybody in the pharmacies knows about them. And then just the people that live around, they go in and
Yeah,
know
have
what it
access.
is,
Yeah,
have access and know, oh, I need this is useful for that.
yeah.
So,
Well, they say in some health estimates, like the World Health estimates, that over 70% of people across the world still use herbal medicine as their number one, go-to medicine.
wow.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and Americans definitely are shifting for sure, because I've
Yeah.
seen it in the last few decades. Pretty significant shifts. You can get herbs from the local farmers markets. The different grocery stores will have herbs now. You can grow your herbs.
Yeah.
But people are using them more and more, and that's what I'm about, and educating, since I first learned it in the mountains of New Mexico when I was 20 years old. Yeah,
Wow.
foraging wild foods. And
Oh, cool. Yeah.
so
I
I
think
just.
that's super unique to be able to forage stuff as
Mhm.
well, because it's so easy in this day and age. I have bags of herbs shipped from wherever they come
Yeah,
from, which I like to connect with that place and stuff. But also that each geographic location pretty much has its own cure or support from the land there for all the different things. So we could
exactly.
have something sent from some other place, or we could look at what's available in our own local area as if
Yeah.
that was what we had access to.
Yeah,
So
that's 100%. That is community herbalism, and really working with the community, meaning eat the land. The land is part of our community. We have to get away from that kind of uh, this mindset of resource, and we have to really think of the land and these herbs as the source, because they are the source. And if we utilize what grows around us, often it is here for us to find balance and find health.
yeah,
Yeah, it doesn't take like, an exotic herb, although they're fun
yeah,
and exciting to try. But they often just grow right around here. And every single one of these, front yard, rooftop, and then front yard. All of these grow in my yard.
yeah,
And they're easy to grow. They just come back year after year once they get established. Um, so the rose is also an herb that can grow everywhere. I've seen rose on like every continent.
yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I
and
haven't.
wild rose bushes that just
Yeah,
take over,
yeah.
like that's
I
I always
know.
love that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, because we have a lot of that too.
yeah,
But there is rose. I mean, rose is a cultivar that can grow everywhere. And so that's, easy. People even can grow them in pails on their frickin' porch or on a balcony.
yeah.
So the rose is one of the highest vibration plants. Uh, in Ayurvedic medicine, they have Tulsi, which is the
Mm,
highest vibration in a lot of their their energy, energetics of plant medicine.
That's my
And
all-time favorite,
in
Kelsey.
Western herbalism, we have rose, and it is one of the highest vibrations. It can really shift energies. It can really, change, the energy within us. And so it's also a really, really amazing astringent. So it can really take the skin and tighten it. And it can also give us anti-inflammatory action. In fact, they've done studies with grapeseed extract that's considered one of the highest, anti-inflammatories with antioxidant value. And rose, by far, rose petal exceeds that.
Wow.
So it's pretty amazing.
Wow.
I love rose. I love all
Yes.
these plants. And
Yes.
then lavender, interestingly enough, um, for anxiety, there's been some really amazing studies that helps people who are dealing with some anxious feelings and really supports the nervous system. There was a study where they went head to head, smelling lavender in a dental office and benzodiazepines, and you were either given lavender to smell or you were given a benzodiazepine to take, and they did the same. They actually
Wow.
decreased the anxiety people were feeling going into the dentist at the same amount. Although when they left, people could actually drive with the lavender and could not drive a vehicle if they've gotten a benzodiazepine. So a lot less side effects and a lot less, residual, problems. So yeah, that's
Yes.
lavender. And
Yeah.
lavender also, all these, you can keep hearing me say this, but most of the essential oils will have the anti-inflammatory action. So again, that's lavender as well. And then calendula we did talk about. Yeah.
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 Yes. Well, and speaking of just the, Western medicine versus, something like that, I find I just got some white willow bark the other day for some pain when
Mm.
I'm hearing that that is actually what they derived aspirin from,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Silicic acid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool. It's like, okay, cool. Well, aspirin that everybody uses for pain, well, that came from a natural source, and has been extracted in certain ways. So why not just got a tincture of it. And
Yeah.
I haven't used it yet because I hadn't had pain, but I imagine that it works quite
Yeah,
well.
it does
Yeah.
work really well. And the other cool thing about plant medicine is aspirin, when you take it, it does work. It's an anti inflammatory, but oftentimes it gives you digestive upset. And oftentimes they have to enteric coat it so it
Mm,
doesn't hurt the digestive tract, and the
yeah.
mucosa can be very caustic
Yeah.
inside of our stomachs. And white willow bark is actually used for gastritis.
Oh, wow.
So when we actually have all the constituents, so all the different flavonoids and essential oils and sterols, there's so many different constituents in these plants that they're all together with the silicic acid, the active component in aspirin. It
Yeah.
actually it does the opposite in terms of it actually helps with inflammation of the stomach. So
Right.
that's a really
Well,
kind of
that's,
pitch for, why take the whole herb and
yeah.
not always, having to just go for the actual pharmaceutical.
Right. And I think that's so amazing. I mean, that's the thing is nature, just is and it takes care of all these things for us in the plant itself. And I'm always, getting full spectrum if I'm getting something rather than just an extract. And I think, especially a lot of work has been done in research in the field of cannabis. We're just starting to now learn that there's more than just, THC or CBD or, the common ones that a lot of people know about, to all from the flavonoids to the terpenes and other things like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And, there's
The
so many
essential
terpenes
oils.
out there
Yeah.
that are continuing to be discovered. But back before, we didn't even, science didn't
Mm-hmm.
even know about that. So, that the plant has all these things and we as humans can come and research and figure out, oh, it has this and this does this and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. And we may or we may never know everything that's in it, but again, the idea that the sum of greater than the sum of the parts. It's that whole
Yeah.
thing that is important.
And we've been talking about essential oils, and maybe people out there already know that, but terpenes is another word for essential oils.
Okay, is
Yeah.
there a difference, or is it the
Well,
exact same?
there's just different types. I mean, there's so many different types of essential oils. Kind of the big picture, like the common term. But the terpenes and terpenoids are actually the different sections of these essential oils as you break them down.
Cool.
And so, like the terp profile, that's why like you can get cannabis that's lavender or blueberry. Like they actually grapefruit. They actually smell these terpenes, these essential oils actually smell like the counterparts in other plants,
Right, and that they have the same terpenes. Like,
yeah.
Isn't lavender
Oh yeah,
linalool?
yeah,
Okay. And then
it's one of
there's
them,
like and then
and
the
limeine, so
yeah,
the
exactly,
lemon,
the
yeah.
citrus.
Yep. So
Yeah.
these are all essential oils, and
Yeah.
it's actually really cool. Cannabis has the most essential oils of any plant,
Oh, wow.
and that's why we can have so many different hybrids of them and so many different kind of flavors of cannabis. Yeah, really interesting.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So, and again, anti-inflammatory among so many other actions as well.
I just want to
So,
touch quickly on, because I love in doing these videos, is offering something that anyone can do in connection with themselves, each other, in the world. And you did mention that this is great because all you need to do is get some herbs, some hot water, and a towel, and do it.
yeah.
So the access to that is amazing. And also, I was thinking, when you're talking about wild harvesting, how many plants out there that we call weeds that have amazing properties. Like, one that comes to mind is dandelion. And I don't know if you have any others that you would like to share, or even tell about dandelion. You probably can articulate it more than me, or just any.
Yeah,
Like
so I do want to just can we talk about it as we're icing our face?
Yes.
Because
Yes, we could go on so many
next,
tangents.
So the next we will talk about weeds, which some of these can be considered elderberry. Elder pops up on the roadsides all over the place. Yeah. So, anyways, but I'm gonna go grab the ice, and I will be right back.
Oh my goodness, you're putting me on the spot here just by myself to.
Well, tell us about dandelion. What do you use
I don't
for?
remember enough. That's why I was bringing it to you. I looked into so many different things.
Yeah. So this is what you can do after you've actually made your steams. And sometimes I get 2 or 3 steams out of these. I'll put a plate over this and then I'll use it again because there is so much essential oil here. So especially if they're really fresh herbs. And then when I'm done with the tea, when I'm done with it, I actually will make a tea with it. I'll strain it out and put it in literally an ice cube tray. So simple. So this is actually calendula.
Oh wow.
And I think there's some rose, but it's definitely calendula. You can't really, but once there's not a lot of smell once it freezes.
Yeah.
We lose the essential oil. So basically what you're doing here is, I know cold therapy is like a big thing, and they've done studies that actually just putting ice on your face or submerging your face in an ice bath does the same thing neurologically and supports the neurotransmission and the manufacture of neurotransmitters in our body, very similar to going full plunge into a cold body of water. So I do this. This actually tonifies the skin as well, and again tightens it up, especially after steam. You want to kind of close those pores. So you just kind of start in the area. I kind of do, the center, my third eye area, and then just go all around. Oh my God, it feels so good. Oh. I know.
Yeah, it's wild just doing it spot treating too, because it just like makes that one spot.
So y'all got to just try this at home. I mean, you can just get even a piece of ice. It feels good. Granted, you're going to get a little drippy, so use your towel. And Yeah. So dandelion, every spring when all those leaves come out, um, you can start harvesting them right then, and they're a great salad, especially in the early spring. They're real mild flavor. They don't get so bitter in the early parts of spring, and they are just full of minerals, full of quercetin, which is a flavonoid that's a real anti-inflammatory um, flavonoid, and they're just great food, nutritives.
Whoa.
So the leaf also is a diuretic. Tell me if you need another one. The leaf also is a diuretic, so it helps, with any fluid retention. Sometimes I put it in formulas for cardiovascular support for some of my clients.
Isn't
So
it
just
also good for digestion?
so once it gets bitter,
Uh-huh.
it becomes a digestant, and that's mostly the root. And the leaves
Right.
will get bitter later on, but the root, you can harvest the root in early spring as well before the flower, and you can harvest the root. Oftentimes, when I do it, is in the fall. So after the greens, because I love the fresh greens, then I get the flower. One of my favorite things I used to do, I haven't done this in actually quite a while, but when my son was younger, we would make dandelion flower fritters with
Nice.
pancake batter. Oh my God, they're so good.
Nice.
And I've made dandelion wine and dandelion meads before. It is just a great herb. It's just again another nutrient, just full of vitamins and minerals. It's got some vitamin C in it. The flower does.
So next time I'll come over for dandelion fritters
Yeah,
and wine.
yeah. Let's do it.
That was what I
I'll
was
do the.
realizing
You
is
got to
that,
bring the dandelion.
yes. Well, I
I'm
was
going to do
thinking I've
another ice because it
experienced
feels so
more
good.
of, well, sure, I'll take another. Um, Dandelion root is what I've had more experience with for digestion, and also it's
Yeah.
cleansing as well, right?
Yeah. So
And it's also in a lot of things for the coffee alternatives, oftentimes with like chicory or something like that.
yeah.
And I've kind of experimented with different ones to get the taste, but yeah.
Yeah, all that's right. And yeah, so dandelion root is bitter. So anything bitter helps stimulate digestion. So if you have anything bitter, it's going to help with your digestion. And it also dandelion is considered another lymphatic, so helps with that fluids, those clear fluids flowing through our body. So it helps with immune, and it's really specific to the liver.
Mm.
And so we use it often to support livers and to increase liver function. And obviously, that's part of our detoxification system. Our liver is basically a giant filter,
Mm.
right?
Wow.
And it detoxifies from, anything that we get from foods or from the air we breathe, or the drinks that we take in, alcohol, all those things. So our liver is really important, that we give it some nutrients from time to time, and dandelion root can really help us with that. And totally, you can roast it and use it as an alternative to coffee with
Yeah.
with a lot of different combinations. Yeah.
Something that I was also just thinking is really cool, going to how we were talking about the holistic part of the full spectrum of the plant
Uh-huh.
use, on the note of bitters, is for digestion, that in addition to it actually being helpful for digestion once it's down in our system and we have ingested it,
Mm-hmm.
is that just the bitter taste on our taste buds also initiates our body and our system to be ready and to start, producing, the, I guess, acids for breakdown and stuff like
Yeah,
that
yeah, all the
to
digestive enzymes.
digest. And
Yeah,
that's just from
100%
that bitter taste
taste.
that we're
Yeah,
experiencing. So to,
yeah,
just have it encapsulated, I mean, yeah, will help with digestion, but you're skipping that taste activating.
yeah.
So to have the actual bitter taste from the plant and then digest, or, ingest
100%.
it.
Yeah, we need that bitter taste, and y'all got to get on bitters because they're so good to taste.
Right, and it's not
We
something that's common
yeah.
for the Western world to experience. Everyone's like,
Well,
"Whoa, that's bitter. I don't know about that."
well, we use a bitter every day. What's the most common herb that's a bitter that we'll use every day?
Every day?
Every day. Most Americans are herbalists out there, y'all. If you drink coffee, you're an herbalist,
Uh-huh.
and it's a bitter. But what do?
Wow.
We cream it and we sugar it.
Yeah.
So if we actually taste that bitter coffee, you're actually going to help your digestion. And you
Wow.
kind of do notice that because a lot of people always have a poo after their morning coffee, especially the ones that like it bitter
Uh-huh.
and like it black. It really does help keep you regular because again, it's stimulating all of digestion.
Wow.
And they'll get those enzymes moving and the peristalsis in our colon. It is. It's a taste that we should all love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then the other one that we use a lot in our culture is cacao, which is a real bitter herb.
And
But then
again,
milk and
some
sugar.
yeah, exactly.
I know. Well,
Yes.
I mean, when you travel around too, like so many cultures have like bitter foods that they start the meals with,
Hmm.
or
Right.
or a bitter aperitif where you drink your bitter and then you have your meal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, that's
So
something that I've done. I've made, yeah,
yeah,
just taken different herbs and made little teas and stuff and had
yeah,
that before a meal.
exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, cacao. I love cacao. I
Uh,
make chocolate, and yeah, I'll sometimes go through like a chocolate bar a day. But I just had 20 pounds of cacao sent over from Guatemala from a friend who has them there. But so yeah, I
yeah,
love all of it, the whole
yeah.
culture around it and experience and
Well,
cacao ceremonies and leading them and
yeah,
all
and
that.
cacao actually increases norepinephrine and serotonin, two major neurotransmitters that we need for mood stabilization, for memory, for energy,
Yeah.
for feeling great. So, you can see why cacao has traveled the world.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. And I think it's really, I mean, always been helpful, but especially in times where our world could use connection because of it being a vasodilator, heart opener, and that's one of the main experiences of it is that kind of opening to all of
Mm,
connection and love,
mm.
with the world and all of that, and theobromine being one of the big parts of it. Again, that
Yeah,
we
one
don't
of the
want to
alkaloids.
isolate it,
Yeah,
but
one of the
it's
alkaloids.
part of
Yeah,
all of the
yeah,
things in the experience.
yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah,
Yeah, all these chemical constituents that these plants are made of. It's pretty fascinating that people just had this knowing. They were scientists. I mean, all humans are scientists. But now like our actually chemistry and all this, really getting deep into the cellular makeup of these plants are just literally proving what indigenous people knew and taught.
yeah,
And it's pretty beautiful like when research can really meet indigenous knowing and really support those communities, because that is one thing that again I'm just going to keep saying this, but like cacao should be from the source, right?
yeah,
It shouldn't be a resource. So if we could support the communities that are really working with these plants and these trees and really taking care of them and making sure our money goes to those places, and those people that are doing that work. I know I was in Costa Rica and got to meet Bri Bri, who are indigenous of the Talamanca Mountains on the Caribbean coast of Costa Rica,
hmm,
and that's their sacred tree, and it's really honored and revered and cared for, and you can get cacao right from the Bri Bri people, and so these are the kind of connections that I hope to promote. I'm going to be doing videos as well. I also have podcasts. I'm Herb Therapy by ApotheKara, and my website's www.herb-therapy.com. You can come check out my website and then follow me on social media. Coming 2024, there'll be lots of videos from Costa Rica, from Ireland. I love to go and meet plant people from around the world and learn because there's just so much to know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. And yeah, wanting to add just on the note of source and all that, where these things come from, is to bring the awareness to that in a sustainable sense as well, both from how it's grown and if it's sustainable, as well as wild harvesting, because a lot of things. I mean, there's mushrooms that can only be wild harvested and such like that, and just the awareness that we don't take more from the earth than is sustainable, or even from the people. There's things where the people can't now have, like quinoa is a good example.
Mm.
My understanding is that the quinoa craze has taken over, and now the people who that was a staple
It's not
to their
affordable.
diet,
Yeah.
they can't afford their own thing that's
Yeah.
grown in their country that they grow. So
Mm.
yeah, just awareness around all those things to make sure it's sustainable for everyone, for the world, for the earth, and
Yeah.
all of it.
Yeah. Grow greenhouses with cacao.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you're gonna drink hot cocoa and eat chocolate bars,
yes,
or go visit, communities in Central America and South America, and get your fix of cacao and bring it home and share.
yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like, maybe it's a good time to wrap up because we could go on forever, and I'm
Yeah.
excited to
Yeah.
do some more videos with you at some point. It's been great, and this has been an amazing experience.
Yeah. What'd you
Is
think of the
there?
ice,
Oh,
Ian?
yes,
Yeah.
yes. It
Yeah.
has been, yeah, really good. I noticed when I first was doing it, down, like, just it's very different having just one spot, kind of
Mm.
like go, a bit not numb, but like, yeah, having that
Yeah.
sensation,
Yeah.
and trailing, because then I could feel, as I was coming down, like, it kind of left there and went down, and yeah, it was definitely unique. I found I was having a bit of a challenge because you don't have nice facial hair, which I was like
Oh
trying to
yeah.
get the coldest, and I'm like, come on, and I'm like, okay, well,
Oh
maybe if
yeah.
I have like more ice or something, or the
Yeah.
full ice
Beards
plunge.
don't fully work with ice. I
Yes.
think the plunge might work better with that.
Yeah, definitely. Well,
Yeah.
another time we'll do the plunge.
Yeah. Well, at least you're not Chewbacca, so you have some skin there.
Exactly. Yes.
Anyone who looks like Chewbacca out there, maybe not.
Yeah. Full plunge for that.
Yeah. Uh,
um, yeah. So, anyways, I would, wasn't ending it right now, but wanting to just see, if we had any other thoughts that we'd like to share,
yeah.
before we make another video in the future, so that we can have,
I feel pretty complete.
yeah.
And y'all, if you're still with us, thank you, because that was kind of long, that steam. I
Yes,
know it got
yes,
silent. Hopefully y'all went and did something. But
yes.
yeah, so thanks for sticking around and listening to us, and hopefully you learned something or got reminded of something. And yeah, come follow us and check out Herb Therapy by ApotheKara.
Yes.
Peace.
And yeah, I just want to finish up by saying, I'm going to start offering at the end of all of these videos, is just whatever you feel called to do to connect out there in this world. We really need everybody to connect in, and come back together with the earth, with each other, with ourselves. And it can be small little ways. As we said, you can go smell the roses. Stop and smell the
Mhm.
roses. That's something that I actually do as I'm walking down the sidewalk,
Same.
and some people look at me funny and they're like, "What's that dude doing?
But then,
That's
but
just a
then they,
saying."
but then they do it the next
Right?
day.
Exactly. So whatever that is for you, and share it, spread how you're connecting, and yeah, let's bring this world back together and connect in love and peace and joy. So thank you very much. It's
Yeah,
been a
thanks.
lovely experience, and my first full on experience, in
Yeah, he
like
didn't know what he
this.
was getting into.
Yeah, she tells me at dance, like, I'm like, so what? You had a great idea. What are we gonna do the video of? And she's
Yeah.
like, I'll tell you when we get there. And I'm like, okay, I like surprises. So
Yeah. But yeah, share this with your friends. Try it. You could do herbal steam, ice parties, especially if y'all are in the upstate New York winters. There's not much going on, so it's a great way to get through winter and share with friends and
yes.
family.
And go give someone a hug.
Aww. Mm. Go dance.
Mhm.
Thanks, Ian.
Yes. Thank you. See you next time on the Sunshine Connection. Lots of love.